Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, June 17th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at SRM, and what a big mover today on this one. Great volume. So you got to think a lot of people will be watching this one as we head into Tuesday, and especially when you have a very well-defined pattern here. So let's get this pattern drawn into play. And as I draw this pattern, please don't think I'm trying to impress you or make this seem like it's a great discovery. Nothing like that. I assure you a lot of other people have drawn this pattern. I make all those comments because when a lot of people, let me draw in the bottom part of the pattern, when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let's keep this pattern all the same color, hopefully make it easier to see. So we have our area of resistance, we have our area of support, have the big upwards move right here, and then for you golfers out there, make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So again, no such thing as a guarantee, but more than valid to think that the price could consolidate out, eventually come up here and maybe get the break. And then with that break, get some good solid upside buying pressure. So if you like bull pennants, you like this price range down around $10, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, GNLN. A lot of volume on this one today, and in my opinion, at least some very well-defined technical levels to watch moving forward. So let's get these drawn into play. And as I just did on the previous chart, I'm not trying to imply that that was a great ability or a great discovery on my part. I think a lot of people have drawn that basic trend line. So once again, brings up that talking point of no guarantees, but potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So keep an eye on that if you like to play breakouts. And then on the flip side of things, in terms of levels of support, the level to watch closely is that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. And so far, so good. You would want to see it act as support, and that's exactly what happened with it back there on Friday. And then you look at today, acted as support again, and then even right here, latter part of the day, price is doing a good job of respecting above that purple line. If the price were to break down below the purple line, especially if it's a high volume break, no guarantees, but at that point, the chart kind of enters into this no man's land, where again, I'm not saying the price is for sure going to go down anywhere, but I could see the price potentially then needing to revisit that 200-period moving average right there down at 0076. But as of right now, so far, so good. Price is doing a good job of maintaining above that purple line. But nonetheless, those are going to be the main technical levels, in my opinion, moving into Tuesday. Next one, DNN, and I already talked about this pattern once, so I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker, but here we have the resistance part of the pattern. Here we have the support part, and I guess technically speaking, it's a little bit of a different pattern, but same general idea, so let's just get this pattern mapped out first. So we have our area of resistance, we have our area of support, we have the upwards move there. So technically speaking, I would call this a bull flag pattern as opposed to a bull pennant. But you don't want to get too much, hung down in the semantics, because at the end of the day, it's conveying a key dynamic. The dynamic being there was a big move up. Now there's a bit of a pullback, and now it's just a question of will this pullback be healthy? That eventually does generate a move in the upwards direction. So if you like the price range down around $2, you like bull flag patterns, here you go. Next one, HCTI, and big picture wise, everything is hanging in there and doing just fine. This will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the past videos, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that purple line there, 50-period moving average, and me saying that, as long as the price is above that level, then from the overarching standpoint, the bulls are in control. And yes, today there was a bit of a gap up, and the price went that high, and then after the gap up, there was a pullback. So from the angle of if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, yes, from that angle, things aren't looking so good. But from the bigger picture point of view, even with the pullback here, price is still nicely above that purple line. So all in all, I would still give the big picture advantage to the bulls. In terms of areas of resistance, it does seem as though kind of a new key level has arisen, and that sits right here around the 0.03 mark. If you look back here, you can see that generally speaking, this was an area of support. And then when areas of support are broken, a general rule in chart states that they tend to act as resistance. And that's what happened here, because right there you can see it was broken to the downside, and then the price came right up here, got rejected on it. So that does not mean that 3 cents can ever be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is currently struggling at that area, and that moving forward, if there is going to be any sort of return back upwards, and if this overall trend is going to continue in the bulls' favor, then at some point in time, the bulls are going to have to do battle with 3 cents and then push up through there. But all in all, like I said, the price is still building those higher bases, and that's what matters most. Next one here, NVDA, and again, this level remains quite tricky at 145. Been talking about this as an area of resistance. Now, on the good news front, I would certainly agree that this area has been weakened up as resistance, because you can see right there, the price actually broke above it. The price spent quite a bit of time above it, but eventually the price did drop down below there, and then you can see right here during the last 30 minutes, 145 has gone back to acting as resistance. So again, I would fully agree that 145 has been weakened as an area of resistance, but it is still a resistance nonetheless. So from that angle of things, nothing has changed. Still got 145 as that key level. But again, I'll bite, I would say, and concede a weaker level of resistance. In terms of areas of support, very impressive action right here. If you watched past videos, you knew that I was talking about that purple line, and with the price getting back above it, good to see it now act as support again. So in any sort of bigger pullback, preferably speaking, you want to see the price stay above that purple line. Right now, valued at, we'll just call it 143.75. But from the big picture, it's not like if the price falls below that purple line, then the entire chart's destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could stay above there, that would be a very impressive sign of strength. I would say more so the overarching must-hold level would be the pink line down here, 200 period moving average, right now valued at 140.50. So all in all, yeah, a little bit of a disappointment that the price was not able to maintain the breakout. But broadly speaking, put in a higher high today, and that's always a good thing. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use, or if you are watching right at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, BBAI, very nice mover here, got the breakout. And quite frankly, is not a whole lot that can be said because it's essentially in a full-blown breakout territory. So I do need to zoom out here because we got to figure out where some of these next areas of resistance actually are, which isn't, assuming you're bullish, a good problem to have when you have to squeeze down the chart in order to figure out where next potential battlegrounds are. So next key overarching level, in my opinion, can be right up there around $4.21. And just in case this bigger move continues, I'll map out one more area with that next key overall arching level being up there around $4.32. So 421 and then 432, next two key battlegrounds from the resistance side of things. Zooming in and looking at supports. Ideal level of support, meaning, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the healthiest, the best moving forward? Certainly if the price can continue to hold above that pink line right there, valued at $3.96. But from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then in my opinion, nothing to worry about from the bulls standpoint, because that would still be, imply that the bulls are putting in those higher bases. But yeah, no doubt about it. Right now, in the middle of a beautiful breakout. Can this breakout continue up to that 420 mark? Will it be able to push through there? Grab your popcorn for Tuesday. Next one here, SONM, and I like this pattern here quite a bit just because you have a pretty well-defined area of resistance. And once again, one of these levels where I'm not trying to impress you, I think a lot of people have connected both that high right there with that high, creating this area of resistance at essentially $1.78. So again, that guarantees nothing, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think if this thing consolidates out a little bit more and then works up there, could this break right here generate more buying pressure? Could that bring in a whole nother round of bullish momentum? I think that is a valid question to throw out there as a possibility. So keep a close eye on that in terms of the key battleground and resistance at $1.78. And then in terms of levels of support, I think you have a nice little upwards trend line right there to watch. But in my opinion, at least, by far the most interesting dynamic is all about 178. So let's see if the price can get enough strength to push up through there. Next one here, OP. Going to go through this one very quickly because I literally just talked about this general pattern, so I don't want to repeat myself, but same idea of what we just talked about. So very well-defined level right there at $2.42. So keep an eye on that from the key battleground standpoint. And then in terms of areas of support, have a nice area right there. So there you go. Very similar to what I just talked about, but in this situation, key battleground, key breakout point right there at $2.44. So let's see if the price can indeed work its way up to that area and then maybe get some sort of good quality break. Next one here, TMDE, and you've heard this pattern before, so I'm going to go through it a little bit quicker, but we have ourselves a nice bull pennant pattern. So there is the resistance part of it. Here is the support part. And let's just keep it all the same color. So resistance, support, big move up here, golf hole down here, bull pennant pattern. Now, there is some perspective. I realize that if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, maybe you bought right there, maybe you bought the dip right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, things are looking rough because, yeah, there has no doubt about it been a bigger pullback here. But that's just, like I said, from more of the day trader scalper vantage point. When you look at multiple days here, you can see within the grand scheme of things, the price does still have the bull pennant pattern. So assuming you do care about just the bigger picture point of view, and you like this price range around the $2 mark, and you like the bull pennant, then look no further. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. Very, very straightforward chart right now, so I don't think this, I shouldn't have to talk about this at all. In terms of areas of resistance, if you watched the past videos, nothing new. Still all about the pink line there, 200 period moving average. Crazy how today it just stuck right below it before finally pulling back a little bit more. But that's got to be a level that you think everybody and their brother, uncle is watching from a resistance standpoint. And then on the support side of things, 2 key levels, ideally speaking, in terms of what would make it look the best, certainly staying above that purple line right there, because with the price staying above there, if we just turn these into trend lines, so let's turn the 200 period into a trend line, turn the 50 period into a trend line, you can see how now we have this nice little wedge right here that's forming. So yeah, will the wedge get the break to the upside? We'll see. But even if the price does drop down below the purple line, not the end of the world, because as discussed in past videos, still have the 313 mark. Now that's a much more important level, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because right now the price isn't anywhere close to testing that. And if it does, I'm sure I'll be back to update and talk more about the importance right here. But again, like I said, price has been doing a fantastic job, beautiful job of staying above that purple line. So no need to talk too much about that 313 mark. But yes, this wedge has formed. Will the bulls finally get the break to the wedge on Tuesday? Once again, one of those grab your popcorn moments. So we'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free class. It'll be very soon, later this week, Thursday, June 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, as always, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. And also, if you want to see me trade live, ask me questions, hang out with me live, I have been live streaming. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you are notified of when I do go live. And if you do show up on the live stream, let me know in the chat box that, hey, I'm here from the video charts. It'd be cool to make that connection. So again, definitely make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when I am live during the day. So thanks for watching, and make sure you go get signed up for that free class.